I didn't understand it at first. Nothing felt wrong, not in the beginning. In fact, it felt like the safest place I had ever been. The way they looked at me, the way they listened, the way everything just fit. It didn't feel forced. It didn't feel confusing. It felt real. And maybe that's why I didn't see what was coming. Because when something feels that right, you don't question it, you don't analyze it, you just fall into it. And I did. Slowly at first, then all at once. I let my guard down in ways I hadn't in a long time. I trusted the consistency, the attention, the way they made me feel seen. It felt deeper than attraction. It felt like recognition. Like they understood parts of me I hadn't even explained yet. Like they saw me before I even showed myself. And that's what made it so dangerous. Because when something begins like that, you don't expect to have to recover from it. You don't expect it to be the thing that breaks you. But then something changed. Not suddenly, not in a way you could point to. Just small things. A shift in tone, a delayed response, a silence that felt heavier than it should. At first, I ignored it. I told myself they were tired, busy, going through something. That's how it begins. Not with pain, with explanation. Because when you care about someone, you don't assume the worst. You protect what you have. You try to make sense of it, and without realizing, I started adjusting small things, almost invisible. I spoke softer, chose my words more carefully, held back questions, things I would normally say. I didn't. I paused before speaking, replayed sentences in my head, changed my tone just in case. And when something felt wrong, I didn't confront it. I waited. I gave space. I told myself that was maturity, that I was being understanding, that maybe I was overthinking. Then came the moment that stayed longer than it should. I asked something simple, something normal, nothing heavy, nothing dramatic. And instead of an answer, I got distance. Not anger, not a fight, just absence. And somehow, that felt worse. Because silence leaves room for your mind to fill everything. Because in that moment, something shifted. Not outside, inside me. I didn't question them. I questioned myself. Did I say something wrong? Was I too much? Did I ruin something? Should I have stayed quiet? And when that starts, everything changes. You stop trusting yourself. You filter your words. Before you even speak, you shrink your reactions before they even exist. I started asking less, expressing less, needing less, or at least pretending to. Because every time I reached out, there was distance, so I adapted. I became easier, quieter, less complicated, less emotional, less me. And the strange part, it felt right. Like I was keeping the peace, like I was fixing something, like I was being better. But I wasn't. I was disappearing, piece by piece. And I didn't even notice it happening because it was slow, so slow. It felt natural. And the more I adapted, the more things shifted. The attention became inconsistent. The warmth, conditional. The connection, unpredictable. And without realizing, I started chasing something I had already felt. Trying to get back to the beginning, trying to bring back that version of them. That version that felt safe. That version that felt real. But here's what I didn't understand. There was no beginning to go back to. It wasn't real. It was a moment, a phase, a version designed to pull me in. And I was trying to rebuild something that was never stable. There were moments though, small ones, that didn't match the story I was telling myself. Little inconsistencies, energy that felt off, the way they changed without explanation, the way something felt different even when nothing was said, nothing obvious, Nothing I could prove, but something I could feel. And every time I felt it, I ignored it. Not because I didn't see it, but because I didn't want to face it. Because if I did, everything would collapse. Everything I believed, everything I invested, everything I hoped for. So I stayed in the middle, not fully trusting, not fully leaving, just existing there. And that place, that in between, is where you lose yourself. Slowly, quietly, without realizing, because you're not in truth, but you're not free either. You're just stuck, trying to hold something together that keeps slipping, trying to fix something that keeps breaking. And over time, your mind gets louder. You replay conversations, you analyze tone, you read into silence, you question everything, every word, every pause, every reaction. And then something happens, you stop questioning them and you start questioning you. Am I overreacting? Am I imagining things? Am I too sensitive? Am I the problem? And that's how control really works. Not through force, through confusion, because confusion keeps you trying to understand, trying to fix, trying to stay, trying to make it make sense. And the longer you stay there, the harder it becomes to trust yourself again. I remember reaching a point where I didn't even know what I felt anymore. Everything was filtered through doubt, through fear, through hesitation. Nothing was clear, and when that happens, you're no longer reacting to reality. You're reacting to distortion, to uncertainty, to a version of things that keeps shifting. And then, something shifted, quietly but clearly. For the first time, I stopped trying to fix it, stopped trying to understand, stopped trying to explain, and I just watched. And what I saw changed everything. The pattern was there, clear. The distance wasn't random. The silence wasn't accidental. The confusion wasn't miscommunication. It was consistent, predictable, repeating. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. And that's when it hit me. This was never about me. Because the more I stepped back, the clearer it became. They didn't need connection. They needed control. Control of the distance, control of the closeness, control of the emotions, control of how everything felt. And the moment I stopped reacting, something changed. They softened. Suddenly, they became everything I had been waiting for. Attentive, calm, present, understanding. They said the right things, did the right things, looked at me the same way as before. And for a moment, it almost worked. I almost believed it. I almost went back, but something inside me didn't move, didn't respond, didn't fall again, because now I could see it. This wasn't change, it was adjustment, timing, strategy, and that changes everything. Because once you see the pattern, you stop chasing the moments. You stop holding onto potential. You stop believing in what it could be. You stop trying to go back to something that never existed. And then comes the hardest part. Not leaving them. Leaving the version of you that stayed. The version that accepted less. The version that ignored the signs. The version that kept hoping. Because now there's silence. No chaos, no confusion. No emotional highs and lows. Just space. And that space feels strange, uncomfortable, heavy. Because you are used to intensity, used to noise, used to trying. But inside that silence, something comes back. Clarity, slowly, quietly. You start hearing yourself again. You start noticing things again. You start trusting yourself again. And then comes the question, you can't ignore anymore. If I see all of this now, why did I stay? And that question changes everything. And there's something else, something even harder to admit. It wasn't just them that kept me there. It was the hope. The hope that maybe if I just understood more, if I just stayed a little longer, if I just loved better, things would go back to how they felt in the beginning. Because that beginning felt too real to be fake, too intense to be temporary. So I held on to it, even when everything else was telling me to let go. I told myself it was just a phase, that every relationship has ups and downs, that love requires patience. But deep down, there is a quiet voice, a voice that didn't argue, didn't panic, didn't try to fix anything. It just knew, and I ignored it again and again and again, until ignoring it became more painful than listening to it. And that's the moment everything really changes. Not when they leave, not when they hurt you, but when you finally stop abandoning yourself. Because now, it's not about them. It's about you, your boundaries, your awareness, your truth. And once you reach that point, you don't need closure. You don't need answers. You don't need them to finally understand you. Because you understand now. And that's enough. It was never about love. It was never about fixing. It was never about being enough. It was about something inside them they were running from. And the moment you stop chasing, they don't lose you. They lose control. And that is the one thing they don't know how to handle. So they repeat same patterns, different people, same cycle, again and again and again, trying to recreate something that only works when the other person can't see it. But you can now. And once you see it, you don't just leave the relationship, you leave the illusion, you leave the confusion, you leave the version of reality that was never real. And that is where everything begins.